Ladies and gentlemen, Vidyaniketan Group of Institutions welcomes you to yet another season of India Insight. Envisioned by Mrs. Prema Rajagopal, the founder of this institution, way back in 2004, the objective ever since has been to enhance the knowledge of India and appreciate the diverse culture of this nation. As our young children take part from various corners of the world, over the last couple of years in the digital avatar, this contest has reached over 20,000 students across 10 countries. We at the Vidyaniketan Group of Institutions truly appreciate and acknowledge the support and patronage given to us by all the participating schools, their teachers and managements. Before we begin, it is our pleasure and privilege to invite a leader in school education, a person who's a strong advocate of co-scholastic learning. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dean Academics at Vidyaniketan, Miss Sumitra Raghavan.
Good morning, young participants of the India Insight debate, quiz and drawing competitions. The dream of our founder, Srimati Prema Rajagopal, has not only materialized but is growing stronger in numbers each passing year. Children of today have information available to them at the click of a button. But India Insight is one set of competitions where they develop curiosity about the historical, cultural, and current facts on India. From the host institution, Vidyaniketan Public School, let me wish all you participants all the best as you move from the prelims to the grand finale. A big thank you to all the teachers who stood by their students as they prepared for these competitions, and to their heads of institutions, not only from India, but 9 other countries as well, making India Insight a truly global set of competitions. All the best and thank you.
A big hello and a warm welcome to each one of you to this wonderful program. It's time for us to introduce to you your host for the program today. She is Asia's only professional quiz host, having hosted quizzes in several countries across this region. She has to her credit over 500 shows over the last couple of years, the notable ones being Tata Crucible, TCS Inquisitive, TCS Intelligim, the Union Bank Quiz, the Canara Bank Quiz, just to name a few. She is an alumnus of NITK Surathkal and was selected as 40 under 40 by Business World as people to reckon with from our country. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, time for you to welcome your host, Miss Rashmi Furtado.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the third semi-final of India Inside Debate Young India Speaks 2023. You heard me right. I said third semi-final, which means we have already completed the first 2 semi-finals. If you haven't taken a look at them, go back and definitely watch both the episodes. Believe me, you're going to enjoy both of them. India Insight is a concept that was initiated by the Vidyaniketan Group of Institutions. It's a global level inter-school contest comprising of a debate, drawing, and a quiz. It initially started as a quiz, but then grew into a contest that it is today. As an institution, Vidyaniketan believes and advocates that one must evolve, engage, and explore. And this contest here today provides the platform for all the students to do just that. And as the name or the title of this entire event suggests, India Insight, this contest is all about India. Let me quickly introduce our jury members here today. We have Ms. Sakshi Kapoor. She is a counseling psychologist with expertise in child psychology and child development, and she's currently a part of providing or creating innovative education solutions for early years. Sakshi, thank you so much for joining us. We also have Mr. Rohit Jain, who is a HR professional and is currently a part of NICA. Rohit, thank you so much for joining. I'll, of course, give an in-detail introduction of both of them as we progress in the semi-final. For now, let us quickly get to know our semi-finalists and then move into the rounds of Young India Speaks. Our first semi-finalist joining us from Sacred Heart Senior Secondary School, Chandigarh, is Devishi Manas. Joining us all the way from Doha, DPS Modern Indian School, is Sheza Kabir. Up next is Dhruti Purushottam from the Narayana E-Techno School, Bangalore. All right, Dhruti seems excited. Let's hope that excitement carries all through the semi-final. Completing the lineup here today for us is Dikshita Vivek from SBOA School and Junior College, Chennai. That's the lineup we have for you here today, ladies and gentlemen. Time for us to get straight into our semi-final. The first round, me in 30 seconds. Here we go. You might wonder how can one introduce themselves in 30 seconds. Believe me, these students have been able to do that. The intention is to make them understand that no one has the time today to go into an in-depth introduction, especially when you have to make an impact. You have a short 30-second window that you have here today, and you have to ensure that you do it well. Our first contestant, who will introduce herself, remember the context, it has to be India. First contestant, Devishi, you have 30 seconds of time to introduce yourself. Please go ahead.
I am Devishi Manhas, a citizen of this nation, a student of Sacred Heart School, and I want to express my thoughts about myself. I would start off with thanking the India Insight team for giving me this opportunity. I'm an enthusiastic basketball player, public speaker, and writer. My mother India is as close to my heart as God is to me. She is the source of everything true and beautiful. And there is no dearth of anything with my mother India. Thank you.
Thank you, Devishi. Well, she sounded like an all-rounder with basketball and writing, all of it put together. Let's move on to our next semi-finalist, Sheza Kabir. Your 30 seconds of time. Please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Shaza Kabir, a 9th grader from Delhi Public School. I hope you all are doing very well. I'm really grateful for having this opportunity to speak here and to be present here. I'm a 9th grader from Delhi Public School. I'm an enthusiastic speaker, a sports person. I'm fond of reading, playing basketball, football, badminton, and reading books. I'm fond of everything in this world. I'm a hoardophile. I love learning new things. Thank you.
Well, I think we are going to have a lot of all-rounders in this panel here today. Let's move on to Dhruti. Dhruti, you have 30 seconds of time. Please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dhruti Purushottam from Narayana E-Techno studying 9th grade. I really thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity. So, because India, like the rich land, rich heritage India, today India is there, that's why I am in this country representing myself and today talking and debating in this competition. And has also one more extra information I want to give about myself is I'm a head girl in my school, and I'm really proud to be that. It's not easy to become a head girl in a school populated of 1,000 members to get it winning of 486 votes altogether. But today I give a bet that I'm going to be a star, represent myself as a shining. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dhruti. A head girl there. All right. Dikshita, you have 30 seconds of time to introduce yourself. Please go ahead.
I, Dikshita Vivek, a citizen of this nation, is extremely ambitious and have an ability to create an identity and move my nation forward. I, a youth of this country, is willing to learn and act on it towards nation building. I'm both self-motivated and extremely hardworking. I don't break rules and respect all elders. And indeed, I'm a future of this country and I shall represent it at every level.
All right. A very enthusiastic introduction of herself is given by Dikshita here. All right. Let's move on to the next round, ladies and gentlemen. Point of view. Here we go. In this round, each of the contestants will speak for a minute on the topic that is given to all of them. Let's take a quick look at the topic. Top 2 priorities for India at 2047 and why. They can't simply tell, okay, these are the top 2 priorities. They have to substantiate their answers. Why 2047? Well, we just completed 75 years. 2047 is when India turns 100. All right, so let's go the other way around in the order now. Dikshita, your minutes time on the topic, starting now.
I have 2 striking priorities for India in 2047. One will be the rapid development of infrastructure. The second one will be hunger-free India. As per my first priority, I wish my country will have well-connected networks of roads, railways, airports, making it easy for the people to travel within and abroad. I wish for an India full with smart cities, which is equipped with state-of-art amenities and facilities. These cities will be designed to be energy efficient and environmental friendly, making them the ideal place to live and work. Now, my second priority will be hunger-free India. I wish every child in India gets a nutritious meal. So let us all fight against hunger. Hunger and malnutrition have a ripple effect that slows development. Poor and inadequate nutrition also leaves children vulnerable to disease and illness and can cause stunt growth rates. A goal to end hunger in all its form by 2047 is to ensure that everyone, everywhere can lead a healthy life. We all have a role to play in achieving this goal. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dikshita. Well, many of you may think that hunger-free India or hunger is not really a very, not something that needs to be a priority. Believe me, in our country, it still is a priority. She's not wrong with what she said. Let's move on to our next contestant, Dhruti. You have 1 minute's time to speak on the topic. Your minute's time starting now.
All right. Everyone knows that India has the most populated population. It has about some crore of people. So why? Why is this populated country having so many people, yet people keep migrating to different countries? Don't you wonder why? Yes, I know. This is my first priority. By stopping people migrating to different countries and developing the other countries, instead to develop our own country, India. And the second most priority is waste management robot. There are deadly diseases spreading all over the country, and there are deadly viruses spreading too. Why? Why is this? It is because of the waste and the deadly poisonous or the medical disposes we are doing. Because India has the most populated human beings and all the creatures and organisms, it is natural for the waste management robot to be present in our country. So, keeping these 2 priorities, the first one is India having most of the populated people, we must stop people by educating them to migrate to different countries and developing those countries instead to develop our own country, because it is still developing country, right? There are most intelligent and mindful students who and the children who graduate from India, but they go to different countries and develop the other countries. So why? Why is it? The priority for this should be given from the government. This is my topmost the priority. The second priority, like I told you, waste management robot. This has to be introduced in the 2047 to these widespread of the diseases and the good health of all the citizens. Thank you.
Sheza, you're up next. You have a minute's time on the topic top 2 priorities for India at 2047 and why. Please go ahead.
India's future could be at stake. The country is facing a number of challenges, including poverty, unemployment, lack of education and healthcare facilities for all its citizens. I do agree we are developing, but we cannot deny the fact that we do need to develop on these things. In order to overcome these challenges, India needs to focus on next 2 decades in particular. India has been an economic powerhouse for the past 75 years, but it cannot continue on this path without addressing some critical issues like unemployment, poverty, etc., that will have a long-term impact on the growth trajectory. To achieve sustainable and inclusive growth in the 21st century, India must focus on building a knowledgeable society by investing in human capital development. So my first priority would be developing the human capital resources. Second would be breaking the stereotypes. There are many stereotypes in India, which are imposed on women, and there are stereotypes based on South Indians and North Indians. So I would like to break those stereotypes, which are actually putting us down, which are discouraging and putting our mindset very much down. So in order to break those stereotypes, we need to educate people. That's my second top most priority. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Sheza. And finally, we have Devashi. Devashi, you have a minute's time on the topic. Please go ahead.
India will build a loved economy on the basis of love and harmony. The long-awaited Swatantrata, a cherished dream of several generations, was a fruition of great struggle. And to repay them, we need a thorough overhauling of our national character. I do firmly believe that we need to sort our priorities in order to achieve India at 2047. My first priority is that India needs to increase investment in technological innovations. As India now aspires to become a global leader, the security challenges become more complex. My second priority is achieving sustainable development goals. The effects of global changes are being witnessed by India. To overcome these challenges, solutions should be implemented. In the end, I would like to say, by accomplishing India at 2047, we can realize the dream of collective effort. Thank you.
All right. A lot of interesting perspectives from our contestants here today. But time for us to move into the next round, which is War of Words. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the third semi-final of India Inside Debate, Young India Speaks 2023, brought to you by the Vidyaniketan Group of Institutions. We have already completed the first 2 rounds of the semi-final, and now it's time to get into the War of Words. In this round, each of the contestants will have a minute's time to speak on the topic, and then they have 6 minutes to discuss and debate on the topic. Ladies and gentlemen, the topic coming on your screen now. Hosting G20 summit is a boon for India's economy. Well, our contestants today have had a lot of perspectives. These are contestants from classes 9 to 12. Let's not forget that. We have to keep their age in mind when we hear their perspectives. But let's see what they have to say on this particular topic. Let's change or mix up the order a little bit here. All right. Sheza, why don't you start? You have a minute's time on the topic. Please go ahead.
The G20 summit is being held in Hamburg, Germany from July 7 to 8, and the summit will be attended by the leaders of 19 countries, including India. And I'm saying that it was held in Hamburg. It is expected that the summit will have a significant impact on global economy and Indian economy too. And the G20 group comprises of Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Russia, Saudi Arabia, USA, and UK. The group was formed in 1999 to tackle the issues concerning economies of 20 largest economies of the world at that time. Since then, it has been meeting annually to discuss various economic issues and formulate policies for these issues. Surely, this is a boon for India's economy, as India's economy has to develop, and it is developing indeed, but it has to develop, and the solutions to these problems can be a boon for India's economy. Thank you. Signing off, Sheza Kabir.
Thank you, Sheza. All right, Dhruti, you're up next.
G20 is a group of world's largest economic powers, which includes 19 countries and Europe in the name. So, strengthening of the global economy and financial corporations of decision making, G20 has an international body that accounts for 85% of the global GDP, with 75% of the world trade and about 2/3 of the world population. In 1999, if I'm not wrong, the finance ministers of central bank governors of 20 major countries meet the discussion aftermath of the Asian countries. Financial crisis, and the G20 was born in the 2008, if I'm not wrong, again, in the first G20 summit was held in Washington DC in US. Since then, the starters of G20 is continuously increasing, and in 2009, world leaders announced that G20 will replace the G8 leaders as the most significant group of wealthy nations. And if everyone knows, India has the most populated human being population. It's very, it is in the peak. So, for the economy and the boom, and the finance
Your time is up. Dhruti, your time is up. You have to stop.
Yeah, thank you.
Devashi, you're up next. You have a minute's time on the topic. Please go ahead.
Vasudev Kutumbakam. One earth, one family, one future. The G20 initiative is a group of the world's most powerful economic forces, comprising 19 countries plus the European Union. PM Modi emphasized that India's G20 presidency will be inclusive, ambitious, and action-oriented, thereby cementing India's position as the voice of the global South. Hosting G20 summit is surely a boon for our country's economy. India has doubled its share in G20 output from 1.6% in 1999 to 4% in 2022. India will ensure that the diversity of every region is showcased to the world. It would, in a sense, be the marketing of India to the world. I would end by saying the G20 presidency indeed is a big deal for India. Thank you.
Thank you, Devashi. Dikshita, you have a minute's time. Please go ahead.
Okay, so it's a matter of pride and honor for India to be hosting the G20 summit in 2023 for the very first time. The upcoming summit will be the highest profile international gathering ever to be hosted in India. The theme for India's G20 presidency is One Earth, One Family, One Future. The upcoming G20 summit is a geopolitical opportunity to demonstrate and showcase India's leading role in global affairs. It will also be an occasion to articulate India's futuristic, tech-savvy, and reliable economic powerhouse role to the world. The discussion will be related to the issues like women empowerment, digital public infrastructure, health, agriculture, tourism, climate change, global food security, energy security, disaster risk management, fighting against economic crime, and multilateral reforms. This is a pride movement for 130 crores Indians. Thank you.
All right. All of them have told us what they have on their mind when it comes to the topic. Time for them to discuss on the topic. You have 6 minutes of time. I will not interrupt unless I have to let you know on where we are when it comes to the time limit or the duration that you have. Okay? So the floor is open. 6 minutes of time. Please go ahead.
Okay, I would like to initiate the debate by drawing some light on these points to support my statement that G20 presidency is a boon to India. During our G20 presidency, we shall present India's experiences, learnings, and models as possible templates for others, particularly developing the world. Our priorities will focus on healing our one earth, creating harmony within our one family, and giving hope for our one future.
Yeah, from my point of view, that this G20 summit would help the people, the delegates, which are obviously influential people from different countries, to come to India and experience the different cultures, the local cuisine, the local products of a country. Tens and thousands of officials and leaders will have an opportunity to see the length and the breadth of the country. The summit will show how India has become central to the world and how important the world has become to India. It will help to glorify the Indian achievements and make India the most amazing country which it really is.
Yeah, if I want to speak then, G20 summit, where we all know our finance minister is Nirmala Sitharaman, yes? So, why don't we think that the India, the most heritageous country, having a lot of economic crisis in like between all this coronavirus is the best most example we can take up, that in the corona there was economic crisis, so that the economic crisis were people dying of hungerness in the starved nations, yes? So the G20 summit can make its reservations for the people, and they can reserve the money. Yeah, so instead of wasting money of the richest people in India are the Ambanis, yeah, the Adanis, all those business people and entrepreneurship. Instead of investing in their own things, the Indian summit, the G20 Indian summit can they can tell them to contribute money and give this G20 summit a great support system, like a backbone system. Yes, sovereign.
Now, coming on to my point of view, this G20 summit will provide a lot of opportunities for India. India has been proactive in the G20 processes in the Sherpas in Finance track. Now, G20's continuous push for global cooperation, inclusive development, economic development and sustainable growth is in consonance with India's domestic goals and principles vouched by other leaders of the G20 summit. During its presidency in 2023, it is essential for India neither to overstress nor underestimate the significance of the G20 work. The G20 represents nearly 90% of the world's GDP, 80% of the global trade, and 67% of the planet's population, due to which it carries enormous political and economical advantage. Thank you.
My point, just a point to add up. The country UK, is the largest G20 investor. If everyone knows that fact, my vision of knowing that India in the upcoming years, India can become the most invested for this G20 summit. So this can help India in booming its priorities to peoples, and its and can identify as the most developed and rich country as it is named now.
Okay, I would like to add one point. So I strongly believe that the innovations will determine the future growth. So innovation is critical for India's economic development. With India taking the initiative to host the G20 summit, it is a chance for us to prove and showcase our ability to the world.
I also
Yes,
want to.
I would
Sorry,
like
you can.
to.
Devashika, you can.
Thank you. I would like to add on to your points that this G20 summit would help in the long term development of India. Like when the delegates come, they would explore the cuisine and the culture. They would go back and tell other fellow people about this. This would help in many ways in the food industry, in the transport industry, most of all in the tourism industry. This would help India to become the golden bird it was before.
You have 45 seconds left.
Also, one point. See, like the content creators in all the social medias, for example, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, anything you take up, right? People want to, concentrate on more activities, the cultural activities, which is really good. I am not telling it's not good, but to be very honest, Indians, like most Indians, in my house, there are people who don't know, are not educated about this summit, the G20 summit. So more people are not educated about this. They don't know about this topic. So my wish is these content creators can make a content of, letting people and educating people to know more about this Indian summit. Yes? Because people, there are people who don't know about this. And if India wants to become the top most invested in this G20 summit and it has to become successful, then it is a must need that all the people and citizens in India should know about this.
You have run out of time. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this was the most peaceful discussion ever. All right. Let's move into the last round of this semi-final, the jury round. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, like I told you earlier, we have two eminent personalities as our jury members here today. Let me introduce both of them. The Sakshi Kapoor loves children and works with them and understands them very well. She plays a pivotal role at the DOT Learning Circle, which is an innovative education solution for early years. A counseling psychologist with expertise in child psychology and child development, she is passionate about social and emotional learning, both for adults and children. Additionally, Sakshi is a certified health and well-being coach and also writes stories for young children. While all of these are very challenging roles, she believes her most challenging role is managing her two young boys. Sakshi, thank you so much for joining us here today. Lovely to have you as a jury member.
Thank you so much.
Our second jury member here today is Rohit Jain. He's a HR professional with over 15 years of experience, and he's currently a part of Nykaa. Earlier in his career, he's worked with companies like Swiggy, PepsiCo, and IBM. He's an alumnus of Symbiosis Institute of Business Management, Pune, an avid quizzer from his college days. He's won several quiz titles. He has also been the national champion of Tata Crucible, often referred to as the Wimbledon of business quizzing in India. In his free time, he likes to dabble in crosswords and Sudoku. Thank you so much for joining us here today, Rohit. Lovely to have you here. Both of you, there are 4 contestants, and both of you would speak to 2 among the 4 of them. Sakshi, please go ahead. Whom would you like to speak to first?
All right. Firstly, I want to say I'm really happy to see 4 girls in front of me right now. You're the future of tomorrow. So stay strong, okay? I will talk to Sheza.
Please go ahead.
Okay. So imagine you're a leader of tomorrow, okay? What is that one skill that you think you will need to take India to where you want to take it? Just one skill, whatever comes to your mind.
Okay, do I get like 5 seconds or something to think? How many seconds would I get so that you can?
5 seconds, 5 seconds.
Okay. All right. So one skill that I think is important not only to bring forward India to the national level, to international level, or to become a superpower, but in every country, everyone should have communication skills. That's what I think is important. Now, talking about going back to history, about Hitler. Now, Hitler, he was a wonderful orator, and how he used to use his schemes, and he was an orator, which is why he used to influence people. And communication is one of such skills that can actually influence people a lot. And if I become a leader, I already do have communication skills, and people would have told me that I do have communication skills, and I am sure that I would become one most powerful leaders of India who will bring India forward to make it a superpower of the world. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheza.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sheza.
Thank you, Sakshi.
Yeah.
The lone gentleman in this semi-final here today, Rohit. Please tell me, whom would you like to speak with?
All right. No, first of all, I think it was an absolute pleasure to listen to all of them, and it's indeed a tough job. And I'm already wondering, right, how the assessment sheet would look like, right? I would like to talk to Dikshita, and Dikshita, of the two priorities that you had mentioned, if you could just state them again, and on those, where do you think we are currently? Right. If I recall, you would have spoken about roads and railways and smart cities.
Yes.
How are we doing there currently?
I think we are doing well, but I think furthermore development would actually make India, instead of like in a developing country, the world's most super developed country. And what I feel is that we can also give some contributions. Like, we are citizens of India, so we can also give some contributions to it. Like, for example, for infrastructure, we can for infrastructure, we can, I guess, like, how about this? Like, I would suggest a sector-specific initiatives to improve infrastructure of my country. So my country, sector-specific initiatives would be the railways and metro rail, the connectivity of roads, augmentation of telecom infrastructure, housing for all programs, building new airports and terminals, not only in metro cities, but also in towns and rural villages. And for hunger, I feel that we can take measures, the government can take measures like addressing the problems related to poverty, inequality, or helping the rural farmers connecting to markets, reducing the food waste and food loss, preventing malnutrition in mothers and children. And I think a possible and effective way for solving hunger is if every person can contribute a solution to such problems is by lowering their personal food waste. Thank you.
Thank you, Dikshita.
Very well spoken. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rohit. Sakshi, please go ahead. There is Dhruti and Divisha. Whom would you like to speak with?
So I'll speak to Dhruti.
Please go ahead.
So I know we've been talking a lot about the future of India and the gaps that exist, but I want to know from you, what do you think is one thing we are doing right? What is it that we should sustain and maintain?
All right. If you don't mind, sorry, I apologize. Can you just repeat the question one last time?
Sure. So I want to know from you, we're talking about a brighter, better India tomorrow, right? But what is one thing in the present that we are doing right? According to you, what is the one thing that we should maintain and sustain in order to build a better India?
Okay. So, like if we see, everyone knows our Prime Minister is Narendra Modi ji. Narendra Modi ji has won millions of hearts in India, not just India, but also outside India. He has won international hearts. But why has he won? Because Narendra Modi ji has the feelings of emotions of the people. He engages with people and understands their emotions so deeply, and he tries his best to fulfill their needs. That's why he's winning the people's heart. To have more leaders like Narendra Modi ji, I would like to follow Narendra Modi ji's orders and the advices and the factors he gives to the country India. Because his advices today can become tomorrow, India can become tomorrow's the most shining and the most super developed country. Because Narendra Modi ji is here today in the 21st century, the people in India are the most educated. The Beti Padhao and Beti Bachao, the movement of Narendra Modi ji has helped so many girls and the daughters of India to become the most educated members and standing, they are more confident leaders, communicative skills and the soft skill trainers we see are most women. It is because of Narendra Modi ji. I would like to be his follower and I want to tell everyone to follow his advices so we can make a better India tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Dhruti.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dhruti.
Thanks, Sakshi. Rohit, we have Divisha. Please go ahead.
Right. So, Devisha, of the two priorities again that you spoke about, where do you see we, how are we faring them currently on them? If you have to kind of think about, I think you spoke about sustainable development and, right, your thoughts there.
Do I have to speak that where India is right now? They're on.
Yeah, your thoughts. Where are we there?
Yeah, okay. So, first I would like to repeat my top two priorities. My top two priorities are technological advancement and sustainable development goals, SDGs. So, on technological advancement, India is a hub of technology. India is conquering the IT sector. But when it's conquering the IT sector, on the same hand, India is also being challenged by compound and complex security challenges like viruses, like Odisha being one of the main hub for all these threats related to internet security. So we need to innovate, we need to advance and create a security system in which India is protected from all viruses from Pakistan or anywhere else in the world who try to damage our country's security. Second, I spoke about sustainable development goals. The sustainable development goals in India, they are progressing, but they need to progress more. Like the quality education, which is now being provided under the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. It is being provided, but it has to be implemented and affected in more the rural parts of the country, which are still deprived of these conditions. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Devisha. Thank you, Rohit. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you saw how all of these kids performed or fared in this particular semi-final. But I have two more semi-finals to go. And the judges, the jury members here have the tough task of selecting the winner who will now qualify into the world finale of the Young India Speaks debate from India Inside.
The winner of the third semi-final of India Inside Debate Young India Speaks 2023 is Dikshita Vivek from SPOA School and Junior College, Chennai. Congratulations to you, Dikshita. I would like to thank our jury members for taking time out from their busy schedules and being a part of this semi-final.
You don't go anywhere. Join me in the fourth semi-final. I really hope I see you there. You take care.